All right, in this video, we are going to work through this in-class example. It says write a program whose main method reads a Celsius degree as a double from the console. The main method should call another method that converts the degrees in Celsius to Fahrenheit and returns the results to the main method. The main method should display the results to the user. The formula for the conversion is F equals 9/5 C plus 32. Here's a sample run of the program. Okay. So it says specifically we have to read in a value from the console. So I'm going to use scanner. So I'll have my import statement up at the top, and then class header, class body. Inside the class, I'm going to have a main method. All right. All right, so the input part, I am going to set up a scanner object. All right, and then prompt the user. Enter a temperature in Celsius. And then get that value. I'll probably do it as a double. So that's in.nextInt, since we're using scanner. Okay, well, let's try that out. Oops. Next double, sorry. All right, that's better. Okay, so it says the main method. All right, write a program whose main method reads a Celsius degree as a double from the console. That's done. Next, it says the main method should call another method that converts the degrees in Celsius to Fahrenheit and returns the result to the main method. Okay, so we're going to have another method in here. So for the modifiers, public and static. All right, and now what we are going to do is the return type. So remember, it said it should return the value. So when we're making this calculation, it's probably going to be a decimal number, right? So we are going to do public static double, right, for the return type. All right, and then you can call this whatever you like. Celsius convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. Okay, so that's what that method will look like. We're going to have to decide on what the parameters are going to be. So the parameters, if I'm going to convert a value from Celsius to Fahrenheit, I need to know what that value is. So at the very least, I am going to need a value for the Celsius temperature. All right, that's going to be a type double, since that's what we're using up here. All right, and now we have to think of a name for it. So I am just going to use the same name that I used up here. You don't have to. You can call it Celsius 1 or something like that, right? But the easiest name is just Celsius, okay? Now you might say, hey, is that going to cause problems, right? Because I have a variable here with exactly the same name of the variable here. And the answer is, in this case, it's not going to cause a problem because the scope of this variable, right, of this version of Celsius is from here to here, right? Remember the scope, right? How do you find the scope of a variable? You find where it's declared, right? And so if you go back up here, go backwards until you find the first open curly brace that you encounter, and then find the corresponding closed curly brace. So the scope is from 6 to 10. And down here, this is totally different, right? It's outside of that. So it's not going to cause a conflict. If you're in doubt, though, just you can call it something else. It's not a huge deal. But if you have a longer, complicated program, uh, that is useful because you don't have to keep making up names for other things. Okay. The scope of this variable, since it's a parameter, is the method body. So from 13 to 15. So you see there's no overlap of their scopes. So no problem. All right. So this method is supposed to convert the value over to Fahrenheit. So 9/5 C plus 32. So I am going to, when you do that 9/5, right, make sure you type at least one of these as a double. Because 9/5 is 1.8. You could just put 1.8 if you like. But if you put 9 divided by 5, like the formula says, right? Remember, this is a mathematical formula, and it's not going to translate 100% all the time over to Java exactly, because Java is going to chop the decimal off when it does this 9 divided by 5, and you'll get 1. Okay? All right, and then times C, which is Celsius, and then plus 32.0. Okay. So that's the calculation, and then I want to return this variable. All right, so this is a lot better setup than what we were doing with the void methods. With the void methods, what we had was a, we had methods that were computing and printing things out. Okay, so basically the methods had two jobs. When you're separating these things out, it's better almost if you have a method just have one job. It has one job and it does its job and it doesn't have to worry about anything else. Okay, so in this case, this method's job is just to compute, just to do the conversion. That's it. All right. So that's a lot better, especially if you're working with many other people, or you're writing things for other people to use, and you want other people to use your code. That's good because maybe they don't want to print it out the same way you printed it out. Maybe they need it in some other language, right? Maybe so there's lots of different things that they might use. So if you do a lot of different stuff, people might be less likely to use your code and use somebody else's who doesn't force them to do things a certain way. Okay, so it almost becomes less useful, right? The more jobs the method has. Okay, so now let's see. The main method should call another method. We don't do that yet. All right, so let's go ahead and make that call. I am going to just store the converted result. I'm going to call the method convert Celsius to Fahrenheit with the value that the user typed in, which is Celsius. Okay. All right, so the user is going to type some stuff in. It's going to be stored here. And this next line, then it's going to call the method, so it's going to pass it down here. This method's going to do its job, do the conversion, send the result back. This whole thing will be replaced, right? And then stored in this variable here. Again, I don't have to worry about the fact that I have two variables named Fahrenheit because of the scope, right? The scope of this version of Fahrenheit is from here to here, and this one is here to here. So they don't overlap, so there's no confusion. Okay, so what else? It said the main method should display the results to the user. Okay. And so let's do system.out.printf. And then the message was blank Celsius is blank Fahrenheit. All right. It looks like they rounded to 1 decimal place, so let's do that. All right, let's run it and test it. All right, so 0 Celsius, right? That should be 32. That's good. 100 Celsius is the boiling point of water, right? So it should be 212 Fahrenheit. Right, looks good. And then there was also this case, 43 degrees should come out to be 109.4. Okay, looks good. All right. And that's the end of this one.